Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. This week I'm working on a very simple swipe with just a few colors, beginning with some Oxide Black by Amsterdam as my base color in comparison to my go-to Ivory Black by Artist Loft as a bit of a switch up. And now I promise you at least one time in my pouring career, I will mix enough base paint. One day, I promise. Anyway, working on this pour has only 3 colors, and here we go. Okay, first up was the Blue Flash by DecoArt, leading into some Purple Flash, also by DecoArt, which are both the color shifting colors I really have come to enjoy this past week or two. Now, this swipe again was made to be simple, only 3 colors, and just lastly, I threw in a bit of Metallic Blue by DecoArt, being a bit of a brighter color comparatively to the first 2 by DecoArt. Okay, with this pour, I really had, to be honest, no idea what kind of pour I was going to be making. I just looked at my canvas knowing I wanted to make at least one more painting before my next art festival, which is June 17th, this coming in about 2-3 weeks time, on a nice gallery wrap canvas, but again, no idea what my paints were going to be. I just chose the Purple Flash, Blue Flash, and Metallic Blue out of my bucket, began to mix, and again, had no idea what type of swipes or pour I might even try. And now, luckily for me, this particular swipes blend tended to work out, so I'm glad that I went with the purple first, or the blue first, then purple, then the darker blue to end my swipe pattern with. I felt this gave me the best chance at a nice color blend, and I was quite happy with the overall look of the swipe themselves. And also, as an observation, as I was pouring this piece, I was quite impressed with how well the colors and lacing stuck around compared to my darker bases with Artist Loft. The Amsterdam Oxide Black held the white and lacing effects way better than the Ivory Black does, so lesson learned there. If I'm going to use a black base, I will probably use a bit of a more matte look by the Oxide Black by Amsterdam, and I found again this black worked quite a bit better than the Artist Loft brand. Now I want to explain real quickly why I'm using such big sections of the purple, the blue, and the second blue, the metallic, is because I was so light on my dark base of black that I needed more paint to compensate on this pour so I could wind up tilting some off and have some decent lacing and effects, because again, I could probably have used a good 3 ounces or 4 ounces more of my base paint before I began to swipe. And also this week I'm using a bit of a wider palette knife in comparison to some other tools I've used before. Now I found that a more narrow knife, in my experience, really doesn't carry your lacing weight as far as you want it to go. So I did buy some knives about a month back, and I found that this 1.5 inch or so wide palette works real well for longer swipes, especially in a bit of a circular motion, which really helps to carry the lacing forward and through all your colors. And now finishing up with some more paint on the bottom, I just felt that this painting needed a bit more paint generally to tilt off later on, but also the bottom looked a bit more darker than I wanted it to be, so I wanted to add a bit more color in the bottom section to again stretch out, but also add paint to begin with to make sure I had enough coverage over the entire painting. Okay, now as a bit of a poll question for those of you who do actually pour and do this now and then, I've got a question. So we all know that I am notorious for not having enough base paint or paint generally for some pours, which again is just more, you need experience to work through the failures, we'll call it, to know what happened to not do it again. Now, with me knowing that, that's fine. What is one of your things that you may do that drives you just bonkers that you want to correct, but you seem to keep doing over and over? Let me know. Okay, and going in for my tilt, I did need to add some color on the outsides to make sure that this thing had any sort of shot of stretching at all. Now, I was really happy looking at it from this angle at all of the blue and purple in the bottom right side as we look at it. So I was quite pleased with the kind of the shimmer and glossy look of that blue and purple combination. And now as you see this video is about 2.5 times the speed. This paint was moving like molasses, but again, if I can't laugh at me, I can't laugh at anyone. I am terrible for not mixing enough paint. So anyway, I was very happy with the overall composition of how things were shaking out based on the fact I needed like 30% more paint for this painting. Okay, and once you realize you're a bit light on paint, I needed to be super aware and conscious of how much I had left and how far I had to go. Now I wanted to bail a lot of that metallic blue in the corner off to the left because I had a lot of it. That was really, to be honest, just filler to make sure this painting had any sort of chance at stretching like I wanted it to, but also I had to stretch forward and also to the left. So this went on for quite a long time. I was, again, incredibly thin on most of my colors. So lesson learned, be sure to mix plenty of paint before you even step to the table. And as I could begin to see the end coming closer and more near, I began to just finish off this last corner, wanting to just drop that little last bit of blue off the corner. And really, to be honest, the last tilt towards me, towards the closest corner to me, took about 10 minutes because the paint was so thin. So I skipped all that video for you and just went right to the end product. Here we go. So ultimately, what do you guys think? This was the end result of a bit of a longer pour that could have taken way less time, but I think it really worked out in the long run. Now, some of these lacing effects and cells I got were just awesome. Again, the color held really well against this Oxide Black as my background, and the color shifting colors looked great along with the metallic blue, and there's a very subtle hint of gold as well mixed in the corners, which wasn't intentional, but I'll take it. And again, what are your guys' thoughts on this pour? I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below on how this shook out in terms of composition, color scheme, technique. I love your feedback either way. And if you have enjoyed this video, please click that like button to help this video spread to more people that may enjoy it. And also, if you have liked this end product, check out this next playlist in the top corner to check out a few more just like it. And we'll see you again in the next one.